We have traveled all over Kenya to find hard-working farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the help they need to improve their farms,
get better yields,
and build profitable businesses.
We will see how farmers from across the region can benefit from our experts' advice,
while also learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experiences as they shape up their shambas.
Karibu to the Shamba Shape Up Safari.
Welcome
to Shamba Shape Up.
In this episode, we are going to focus on boosting yields
so that our farmer can make extra money.
You know, that is what every farmer wants to do.
Yes, Carol, I've never met a farmer who doesn't want to make extra money.
Tony, where are we standing here? Why are we chatting? Let's go.
All right, let's go. This week, we have another bumper episode full of tips to make extra profits.
And we are going to be sharing them with farmers Mr and Mrs Riungu.
They are keen dairy farmers with 15 cows.
And Mrs Riungu is chair of the Njoro Dairy Farmers Cooperative with 73 members.
Impressive! So let's meet them and see how we can help. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Hi, Caro.
How are you?
Very fine. Yeah.
Show us your shamba.
Please come.
Okay,
Let's go this way.
Mr and Mrs Riungu's farm covers 7 acres in the heart of Nakuru County.
They grow fodder for the cows. This is napier grass.
And in return, the cows give them free biogas for their cooking.
Very impressive. The main crop is maize. Here's a storeroom.
And there's a store for hay too.
This certainly looks like a dairy farm, Caro. Let's see how we can help. That was a wonderful tour.
Caro, we have cows that are not producing the milk as we expected them. We need to get the assistance on how to make our animals better, produce more volumes of milk, so that we can now sustain ourselves.
One of the challenges we have is the transportation of the milk. Currently, we are using a bicycle, and even that bicycle keeps on breaking down occasionally.
Well, we've listened to you, and Shamba Shape Up is here, and we've come with experts. We'll work with you. We'll make sure we leave them
fully shaped up.
Now, we in Shamba Shape Up have got a farmer record book. It is quite important because you can know whether your Shamba is making profits or losses, and we hope no losses.
This is nice. Thank you.
So we'll leave you with
so
that. We are going to set up our tent.
We'll see you later.
See you later.
All right?
All right.
Bye.
We'll see you. We'll see you.
See you.
Well, Tony, the tent is ready. But are you ready for a hard day's work?
Of course I am, Caro. I am always ready, especially when it comes to helping our farmers make more money.
Well, that's great, because we have an expert to show our farmer how to boost milk yield.
And another to help us sell the milk for a higher price.
But first, I'm going to make sure that the cows of all ages are properly fed.
And I'm going to see how proper storage can lead to higher prices.
See you later.
See you later, Caro. On the way to my first expert of the day, there was some good news. The soil test results have arrived. It is important, even when you're growing maize as a fodder crop, to find out how healthy your soil is, if you want to get a good harvest. And for Mr and Mrs Riungu's soil, CropNurse recommended a balanced fertilizer at planting, while adding urea during top dressing for extra nitrogen. Let us find our farmers and give him the news. Our first expert today is Davin from Eastern Africa Grain Council. We want to see if we can help Mr Riungu store his maize without it going rotten or being attacked by pests, so he can get the best price at market when he decides to sell. And it looks like we have arrived right on time.
We just finished harvesting, in fact, 2 days ago. And we had people who are bringing in the maize.
Yes.
So we just kept it here temporarily to prepare for the threshing next week.
This is the first stage, the first step
That is the first step
to your grains before you move them.
before we move them to the shedding and the permanent store or long-term store.
Yes, as much as there is a second stop, in grains we say quality starts from the word go. from the time the grain leaves the shamba until it gets to the consumer's table. So quality aspects must be maintained at each stage of handling the grain. Like for instance, I can see the farmer did not separate the rotten maize from the good maize before it gets to the storage, and this is not perfectly recommended. Then I've also observed during my inspection that the grain has been put on the floor, and there's tendency of contamination, especially from the wet ground. The grains have been stored in bags. They tend to sweat. The hotness tends to create some moisture within the bag. So it means the good grain continues to absorb the moisture and continues to rot. And of course, at the end of the day, we'll be talking about losses by the time you come to do the shelling.
Well, I think the best thing to do right now is go see the goods store. Mr. Riungu, lead us on. So, remember, when harvesting, put the maize in a clean bucket and do not throw it on the ground. Remove the bad maize before storing and keep on the cob out of the bags and off the ground before shelling. Now, I wonder what will Davin think of the main store. Mr. Riungu is using hermetic bags for storing the shelled grain.
This bag, the hermetic bag, is a better way of storing grain if you're looking at long-term storage because of several reasons. One of them is that there's no need to fumigate the grain, which of course reduces the costs for the farmer. Once the grain is stored in this bag, the hermetic technology would essentially prevent the pests that are outside from getting into the bag, and the ones that happen to be inside the grain in the bag will be suffocated and of course die.
So, Mr. Riungu, for how long have you been using the hermetic bags?
I have used the hermetic bags for 12 months.
So maybe what has been your experience when using the hermetic technology for storage?
I've not been able to use any chemical treatment against the pests, so I've not incurred any expenditure to that effect, and my grain is still intact and good for consumption.
Mm-hmm. Hermetic bags work because they have two airtight inner sleeves. When the bag is full, it can be tied 3 times, the 2 inner layers and the outside layer. This way, the maize is kept airtight and any pests inside will die without using expensive insecticides.
We need to do some work here. As I mentioned, hygiene is still a challenge in this store. And we also need to raise the bags up the ground to promote aeration and also to keep away rodents and other parasites that might eat the grains. So I think I'll leave you guys to do that and I'll come to check it later.
Oh my, you're coming to inspect?
Yes.
We better get on with it. Well, we better get our Shamba Shape-Up team to work, making sure this grain store is clean and tidy. And look, a rat! We are not a moment too soon getting this store shaped up. The next stage is building some raised pallets. Hermetic bags need to be stored off the floor and away from the walls. Moisture is the enemy of long-term storage, so we want maximum airflow around the bags. That's it! I hope Davin thinks we've done a good job.
Well done, Tony. Now it's my turn. I'm off to meet Anthony from Cooper's. He's going to give us an overview of good dairy feed. The first and most important thing to do is divide the cows into groups, so each can be managed with targeted feeding. These groups are calves and high-yielding cows, mid to late lactation cows, the dry cows, and the calves that are close to calving down, and the steamers. Now, here's Mrs. Riungu, and I'm glad to say she has already done this. So, let's go and see the first group, the calves. We have some special advice on high yielders from our next expert, so we'll leave them until later.
You're done with the inspection?
Yes.
Tell us, what do you see?
The animals are in very good body condition.
Right.
And even I like the way the calves are. I also like the kind of fodder that they are being fed on. Because generally, calves like this should be fed the same way you feed your high-yielding cows. And that's why I would like to group them together.
Teresa, maybe if you can tell us how you've been taking care of your cows, the general well-being. What have you been doing so that they look this good?
They feed well. The only thing that I think I don't see them enjoying very much is the water. But they feed very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What could be the problem with that?
Cows don't like cold water. preferably should be about 35 degrees warm water. Therefore, they can be able to take more of the water, and that also will improve the dry matter intake. So when they take more water, they are able also to eat more feed and grow quite fast.
To encourage the cows to drink water, it should be warm. Store the water in the sunshine to keep it warm before filling the trough.
So we aim at least a minimum 500 grams daily weight gain for the cows.
So, Anthony, what would you recommend the calves to be given so that they get into maturity earlier, looking healthier and good?
I also recommend addition of 14 grams per calf per day of Diamond V XPC. This one will enhance digestion so that the calf is able to utilize all these feeds that you've given and grow much faster.
Protein is a vital part of the cow's diet. Using a supplement such as Diamond V will add protein and improve feed take-up, helping promote growth. But Mrs. Riungu must remember to ensure the water is warm enough to encourage drinking. The more the calves drink, the more they will eat and the faster they will grow. Okay, time we moved to our next group.
Now here we have the mid to late lactating cows, and these are the cows that have been milked for at least over 3 months. 3 months to around 305 days.
So, Teresa, how have you been taking care of this group?
This group is fed on a mixture of ronsing grass, some napier, and some maize tubers.
All right.
The fodder is of high quality. What I'm noticing is that the energy level of the feed is a bit low, and also the protein level is low. I would recommend that we introduce a bit of lucerne in the hay. That will be able to improve the protein content. I would also like us to be able to increase the dairy meal that is being fed to them. On the minimum, with 12, they need to be eating at least 4 kilos of dairy meal per cow per day. And above all, I would also wish that we introduce Maclick Super at the rate of 200 grams per cow per day. This one is also going to help in terms of improving the fertility of the cows and also increasing milk production. And actually at this stage, we expect that the cows should be in calf. So we also need to provide more nutrients to take care of the growing calf, and that's in terms of energy and protein and also minerals. So Maclick Super will be able to come in handy in terms of improving all that.
So, remember, make sure the fodder has good protein content. Include Diamond V for this. Feed dairy meal up to 4 kilograms per cow per day, depending on milk production, and give Maclick Super to help improve fertility and increase milk production.
Then without much further ado, let's move to the next stage. And so, Anthony,
Yes.
which stage is this?
Now, here we have the heifers and the dry cows.
Okay.
And these are the heifers above 6 months and the dry cows that are about 60 to 14 days before calving. And actually, this is the easiest group to manage. Basically, all they need is just good quality forage. If you have very good quality hay, a bit of lucerne, that's all that these cows need.
But what about the dry cows? Should they have any special feed?
Now, Maclick Dry Cow is a well-formulated mineral for use in animals that are 2 months before calving. That means the 8th and the 9th month. What Maclick Dry Cow helps is to reduce the stress that comes after calving down. Issues to do with milk fever, issues to do with retained placenta, and also you reduce issues to do with udder edema, where you find that there's a lot of water accumulation below the belly of the animal. So once you sort out all those issues, the cow is able to eat more and will now be able to produce more milk. Because if you don't sort out those issues, the animal will have a lot of stress and the feed intake will go down, and even milk production will definitely go down. So with Maclick Dry Cow, you give an animal a better start in the lactation. And we use a maximum of 100 grams per cow per day, so it has to be measured.
Next time when you come around, I'll give you a better story. Information is power.
Yes.
And I'm going to use it to my advantage. That I learned and I practiced.
That is good.
And the results are these.
That is good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, we've learned how to improve on cow's feed.
And about proper storage.
But on this farm, Mr. Riungu is the real expert.
That's right. And we've asked him to share with us his top tip in farming.
The idea I would like to share with farmers, particularly those who live in low rainfall areas, like I do, is to harvest water. You can dig a trench which is 2 feet by 2 feet and feed it a little bit with the soil and manure from your shamba, and then plant the crop, particularly the napier, and if you want to mix it with desmodium, and then grow together. The advantage is that you ensure that the moisture is retained. Then the crop is not going to dry that fast.
Whoa! What do you think, Carol?
Tony, an interesting way to conserve water.
Coming up after the break,
How to get more milk from high-yielding dairy cows.
and then how to get it to the market quickly and safely.
Welcome back.
To Shamba Shepherd. We are in Nakuru and you are visiting Mr and Mrs Riungu
We've seen how to store crops to get a higher price.
and managing cows. But first, we are going to see how your best cows can give you even more milk.
And help you sell your milk at a higher price.
All right, see you later.
Later.
Now, as promised, here is Langat from Unga with advice on how to boost the yield of high-yielding dairy cows. What exactly is a high yielder?
A high yielder animal or a dairy animal is a cow which produces more than 15 liters of milk per day.
One cow.
One cow.
Now, from your high yielders, you're getting more than 15 liters.
Yes. Yes, I am.
The highest they have given you is how much?
The highest they have given me this season is 20.
Mr. Langat, a good high yielder can give a farmer how many liters in one day?
A good high yielder can give even up to 30 or above 30 liters in a day.
What would you do if you get 30 liters from one cow?
That's my goal.
30 liters from one cow.
That's a vision that I must come true
And it's possible.
in my life.
It's possible.
Good.
What can we do for Mrs. Riungu here to get that 30 liters from a high yielder?
Frieza can supplement her animals using Unga High Yielder Maxi Milk and a mineral called Afiabora Maziwatele.
What exactly is Unga High Yielder Maxi Milk?
It is different from the other dairy meal because it has high level of protein and a higher level of energy. In it also, it has been added yeast, which helps in rumen digestion and also increase the protein level of that animal.
So it's a targeted product for the high yielders.
Yes.
What is the ratio of the product to the body weight of the animal?
Unga High Yielder Maxi Milk is given according to the milk production of that animal. For example, if an animal gives you 20 liters, you calculate it by a formula whereby you say the total liters of milk production produced minus 5 divided by 2.5.
Put in another way, this means you give 1 kilogram of maxi milk for every 2.5 liters of milk production over 15 liters. So, for a cow giving 15 liters of milk, add 1 liter of maxi milk. When it gives 17.5 liters of milk, add 2. When it gives 20 liters, add 3. With 22.5 liters, add 4. And for 30 liters, add 5 until milk production stops increasing. The feed is split, half in the morning and half in the afternoon. And is that the only product that the farmer needs to feed the cows?
We also have minerals. Minerals are very important. We have Afiabora Maziwatele. This is a mineral specifically for the high yielders. As is called biophos, it has been bioplexed. That means that absorption is very high whenever the animals consume. It has been added vitamins to reduce the stress and prevent mastitis. And it is very high in phosphorus and calcium, which is essential for milk production and also for fertility, for that animal to come on heat.
What quantity of this do I put in the feed for that animal to give me maximum production?
you give it at a rate of 75 grams for up to 10 liters of milk produced. For any extra 5 liters above 10 liters, you add an extra 50 grams according to the production of that animal. And you add it into the maxi milk.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, this seems great, but we wanted to know, is there a simple way of feeding a cow these amounts without having to weigh the products every time? Duncan has a solution. Find a cup and weigh different amounts of feeds in the cup, then mark on the cup the level. So, there will be a mark for 50 grams, 100 grams, and so on. But remember, different feeds have different weights. The minerals, for example, are heavier than maxi milk. So, weigh each feed separately, marking the levels using different cups. With these products, you should expect to see increased milk yield within 7 to 14 days. Keep records so you know how much extra to feed the cow as the milk yield rises. So you've had two experts talking to you about your cows. Now I am sure your productivity is going to go high up.
Definitely, I'm looking forward.
Over 30 cans, maybe.
Yes, can get there.
So now how do you transport them?
The transport now is going to be a challenge because currently I'm using a bicycle to transport the milk.
We have a solution for you. Caro is waiting for us with an expert and we'll go there. Then we can see how you can be transporting your milk in the future.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Langat.
Made my day.
Thank you.
So, while Tony was busy with Mrs. Riungu boosting the milk yield from the dairy cows, I decided to ask our expert from Shamba to take Mr. Riungu for a test drive in the Mahindra Scorpio single cab. With all the extra milk they expect to be producing, they'll need a reliable way to get it to the milk coop. Not only that, the Mahindra has some special characteristics that make it ideal as a farm vehicle. And here they are. Let's hear what they have to say.
The car is comfortable, it's not bumpy.
Wow.
And even the rooting boot is good.
Wow.
So looks can be very good for the farmer and also for other farm-related activities.
So, Charles, what do we have here?
Here we have a Mahindra Scorpio single cab pickup. It's a farm vehicle. The clearance makes the vehicle smooth because the suspension is quite good. It's a comfortable pickup for the farm and for the farmer himself.
So, Mr. Riungu,
Yes.
do you think this vehicle would be ideal for your farm right now?
Definitely they will. For example, currently we are using a bicycle to transport the milk, and also the issue of the breakages of the bicycle.
Yes.
Also the capacity is low, and since I'm intending to increase my milk production, I'll need a bigger carrying capacity. I think it will be very, very useful for me. Right. And not only for me as a farmer, the cooperative is going to also gain greatly because the vehicle will be used to collect the milk from other farmers, and that will eventually save for the cooperative.
This vehicle has the capacity to transport many liters because it can give you 20 to 25 cans of 50 liters each. Even if you won't fill the pickup, it will assist you to carry milk for other farmers faster to the factory than the bicycle. It's also a 4-wheel drive pickup. You'll never get stuck in mud, even if it rains. It will act like a pickup and like a small family car because in the interior it's comfortable. It has got an air conditioner. It has got a heater during the cold season.
I can also use it to carry my feeding stuff from the farm
exactly
to the stores.
So what you're saying is that this car is multi-purpose?
It is multi-purpose. It is ideal. It can carry milk, it can carry fodder, it can carry hay.
Does it have the capacity to also carry maize?
It has the capacity to carry maize. It has the power. It will even give you something like a carrying capacity of maybe 15 to 25 bags at one go.
How much do I pay for it as a person or even as a society? And what arrangement do you have for us?
In the 1-ton category pickup, this is the best priced pickup, knowing that it has more benefits than any other 1-ton pickup. 2, if you are a farmer and you have said something like the society, those leasing companies like financing more to the farmers than any individuals because you don't need necessarily to pay cash. We can have an arrangement with the Circle Society so that you can pay over a period of time.
The type of the vehicle that you are showing to me, used to be in Kenya here some years back.
You are right.
And now it's come back again. What is new with the new vehicle that has come in?
Mahindra has been brought back to Kenya by Shamba. Shamba is a company that has been in Kenya for more than 50 years. Right now, Shamba is maintaining the pickups in all major towns of Kenya, and we also have dealerships in other major towns also.
Wow, so that sounds great. The Mahindra is truly a multi-purpose vehicle, and not only for delivering milk. The large loading area also means collecting hay for the cow's feed is no problem. And to prove it, we did just that. That's a lot of hay bales we've packed in there. Now, let's see what our farmers think.
There you are, Teresa.
Yes, I am happy. This is, I think, what we've been talking about.
Really?
A pickup on the way.
Wow. I can see the truck is already here.
Yes.
Charles.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I am sure next time you come here, you will not be talking about the same things. It will be much better. And I am sure the high volumes of milk that we're going to realize will need this kind of facility in our environment.
Shamba Shape Up has really given us information that we need for the future.
So our farmers, you are happy?
Very happy.
Okay. Well, Caro, our work here is done.
It's done. So we'll see you in the next Shamba.